Ooh, hello, X-Nerds. We are back with another episode of Mutant Chronicles. I've got Spencer with me on this one today. He remembered to wear his X-Men shirt for the occasion.
It's actually my first time wearing this shirt. This is a Christmas gift, and I just wore it for my first time.
Very nice. I like that one. I'll have to. I have two X-Men shirts. One I know is in the laundry, which is why I'm not wearing it. The other, I don't know where it's at. I got to go digging for it. Laundry shirts tend to get lost. So yeah, I'm wearing a Batman shirt. So yeah, definitely prepared for this one.
Not even the same family at all.
Not even the same universe, but yeah. I need to get more X-Men shirts. Actually, I should get more X-Men shirts. I really like the X-Men. If that's not plainly obvious.
What? No way.
So today we are going to be talking about the Magik 2025 series, which this episode we could kind of say is a spiritual successor to a recent Dingus Den episode where you talked about the 1983 series. And I will link that in the show description. Who did you do that with?
I did that with my friend Chris. Yes, okay. I did it with Chris. He's a fan of Magik, but he never read that series, and so when I was approaching it, I was like, I felt like that was, I didn't know you liked Magik at the time because that, we've obviously talked about X-Men and how much you like X-Men before, but we've never really touched on the character of Magik specifically. And so after I did that, you came up to me and you're like, I wish I knew you were going to do something like that. I was like, I didn't know you were a fan of Magik at all.
I know. So I was like, no, I'm a fan of Magik. And you want to know something? Over the last month, like I've always been a fan of Magik in general anyway, but over the last month, I've started to like her a lot more. And a lot of it has to do with rereading all of this stuff. But
yeah, there's certain things that when you go back to it, you just appreciate it more.
Yeah. Like while I was looking up some notes for this episode, I came across another comic that I have not read, or maybe I did and just don't remember it. It's fairly new-ish. It's 2024. It was Blood Hunt.
Oh yeah, I think was that just a one shot she had? Or
I'm pretty sure that was just a one shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have read that because it was Magik, but I don't remember anything about it, so I need to go back and reread it.
The writer is the same between that.
It is same writer. So just some notes here. We're going to be talking about the 2025 Magik. They call it an ongoing series, but it only lasted for 10 issues.
The Marvel curse of 10 issues that we've been getting these last 2-3 years at least. They say something's ongoing and that ends after 10.
Yeah. So the writer was Ashley Allen, and the artist was German Peralta. Interesting thing about Ashley is she is going to be writing a series. Well, I'm not sure if that's a mini series or not, actually. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
I have a list. Okay, so it's called. It's not an event. It's just what they're titling. The next major era for X-Men is called Shadows of Tomorrow. So Magik and Colossus is a limited series. It's a 5-issue limited series. And also will be drawn by German Peralta. So actually looking forward to that series. That comes out February, I think. But
First
anyway,
issue is February 4th.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get into talking about this new series, can you give? I encourage everybody to go and watch the Dingus Den episode about the limited series from 1983. But can you give us like a short Cliff Notes version of what you talked about?
So we went over the oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the X-Men issue. X-Men issue, I think it's 160.
160, it is.
So X-Men issue 160 is it's like a must-read issue before you get into reading the Magik miniseries. The Magik miniseries didn't actually get written until like 2 or 3 years later after X-Men 160 was first published. But it's very important you read it at that time because there's a 160 involves like a special time magic stuff going on there, like not just Magik as a character, but like weird magic stuff, the general term happening, where X-Men go in the dimension. They see this weird dimension. They go out where Ileana didn't come out with them initially, but then she comes back out when it's literally just a matter of maybe like a minute, if even a minute for them. Yeah. The next thing you know, she comes back out, and when she was originally, how old was she then?
She was like 7 or 8.
Yeah, so when she was like 7 or 8, she then comes out as like a young adult, and that sets up. Anyway, the Magik series goes into
6 years old. I just read the notes. She was 6 years old when she went in.
The thing too is it's crazy to think that she was that young.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a granddaughter that is 5 years old, and I'm thinking, wow, that's young.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's just insane.
Ileana was young. She was young, and yeah.
But that just shows how much differently time works there than in the real world. And so when she comes back out as a young adult, when I want to say is it 19 when she comes out as or something
13.
Like that?
She comes out as
13. Okay, my timeline is completely off then.
Well, what's crazy is that entire series, like the Magik 4 issues, that entire series takes place in seconds.
Yes.
The canon timeline. Like just a couple of seconds went by.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
It is.
But but that sets up, it's not like it sets up the origin of Magik. Like the entire series there, you don't get her iconic suit yet of what everyone knows her in. But it sets up like how she got her powers. It introduces like how she's able to do her magic, how she's able to get her sword and use it, and also setting up what the Darkchild is and getting into a little bit of that. And so, like I said, it's essentially serves as her origin story.
It is. It's a great origin story. I cannot.
Written by Chris Claremont, so that's how you know it's good.
Written by Chris Claremont. If you are even a little bit of a fan of the character Magik, that series, I would say, is obligatory reading. I'm not even going to say essential. I'm going to say obligatory reading. You have to read that series.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
And so it was actually, I think the full title of that series was Storm and Ileana.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because she had a big Storm, at least that version of Storm played a big role, but then at the same time, it's interesting that they call it that.
Yeah, it was definitely a different version of Storm.
Wonder why it's called that. I'll have to do some digging.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it takes like the event takes place between panels, not just between the issue, but between panels of, like you mentioned, X-Men number 160. And then also, I don't think it takes place during. I think New Mutants number 14 is like right after. But I would suggest everybody, if you're going to read the 1983 series, that you also go ahead and read New Mutants number 14 right after that, because I think it's important enough.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet. I'm actually planning on reading that later today. Checking out the original New Mutant series, which is cool.
Yeah. So there's also a kind of a spiritual sequel, they call it, in New Mutants 25 through 28. I don't remember those issues, but I may go back and read them. Actually, I may go back and read those either later today or tomorrow. But the story arc is called The Labors of Magik.
Interesting. I will be
Actually, wait a minute. Is that later. Hold on, that is not. No, that is not even the new or the original New Mutants run, because it's saying volume 4. Volume 4, because that original one would have been volume 1, but volume 4 is like, oh, volume 4 is okay, volume 4 is Krakoa era. Okay.
That is volume 4 is the one that began in 2020 and ended in 2023.
Yeah. So New Mutants starts in okay, so it's the Krakoan era of New Mutants, which actually, strangely, I did not read. I don't know why I did not. Now I'm thinking I need to go back and read that entire run. But that starts in 2025, and ends in 28, and it was called The Labors of Magik. Huh. Because Moonstar is also in that storyline. Okay, we're getting way off pace here. We could talk forever about Magik as a character in general. I mean, there's so much that is probably essential reading for her, but we are going to talk about the 2025 series written by Ashley Allen. That I did not read originally. Again, me don't know why. I don't know why I didn't read it. I just didn't.
Always too many comics to check out.
It's too much going on. So just a very brief synopsis. So Ileana is it starts off, she's investigating some mutant disappearances, and she discovers that these mutant disappearances are because this demon, you know what, let's just call him an entity. I don't even know if he's really a demon. His name is Liminal. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Has been stealing these mutant bodies because they contain more energy than humans, but he's basically using them as sacrifices to break his banishment, for lack of a better term. so he's capturing mutants, and Ileana teams up with this kid named Cal, who has magical knowledge because of his grandmother. And so they go searching for these seals all across the globe that keep Liminal bound. And it kind of goes from there. There's a lot of stuff that happened. That's basically why all of this happens. The thing that I like about this book in general, and I think it might be one of the reasons why I like Magik in general, is that it's kind of a blend of, let's call it fantasy, and superhero.
Sure. Well, one of the things I found surprising, and maybe you could help, I'm blanking on the word, explain what you mean on it, is or what you meant on it is, like, aren't you like not a big fan of like magic stuff though in the superhero universes?
Not necessarily. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of, like, let's say Doctor Strange.
Sure.
But I don't think it's because of the magic. I just don't think, generally speaking, he's a very well written character.
That's a character I want to go back and read some of his older stuff of sometime, but obviously I'm focused on X-Men priorities.
Yeah, I've read his origin, and his origin is interesting. I like his origin. Yeah. But since then, like, there's been I think they did a Marvel Knights series about him at one point.
Maybe. He's got a lot of series that look interesting.
There's not really a lot, but what I have read, I'm just like, it's all right. I like the way they combine. I like the way they combine magic and superpowers, specifically with magic. I like how they do that with her.
Sure.
And after reading this book, I have become, and I wasn't really interested in the character previously, but I'm kind of more interested in Danny. Like, okay, she's kind of cool too,
I've felt that way as I'm currently reading through the original New Mutants, and that's when she's first appears, was in the original graphic novel that set up the series, and then the series itself. She's kind of like the main character, you could say, of that team that it mainly focuses on. Main character in the sense of, if you look at traditional X-Men, you call Cyclops the main character of that team.
Right.
Like, and so she's that team's Cyclops in a sense. And so,
yeah.
But I've really enjoyed her in the original stuff, and like I said, I haven't read yet with Magik in it specifically, but it's I did enjoy their relationship in this series as we got to see that go on. There's some good stuff.
Yeah, they had an interesting dynamic. When I originally read New Mutants, and when I said originally read, we're talking decades ago. I haven't reread New Mutants since then. I don't remember her being a favorite character of mine, but attitudes and perceptions change as you age. But
the series has been something that I'm like, I don't really want to read it. But I was like, it's Chris Claremont, so I'll give it a shot. And it obviously spins out of X-Men and it's part of it and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. And
Yeah.
Even though like I didn't really like, I knew of Moonstar before, but I wasn't familiar with the character.
Yeah.
But then also like all the other mutant sets in that book aren't really around much. Like, sure, they're around, but like not heavily, And so it's been one of those reads that's been a nice surprising read.
Yeah. So that New Mutants number 14, I don't think it's the first appearance of this character. And we're talking about Doug Ramsey. But I don't really remember. I mean, I can look it up right now, but I don't remember what his first appearance was. Let's see. Doug Ramsey first appearance was New Mutants number 13. So yeah, so 14 would have been pretty soon after he was. And I only mention him because he is very important to the event in the current continuity that just ended, the Age of Revelation. I'm not going to spoil any of that, but you don't have Age of Revelation without Doug Ramsey. It's just period. It's just you don't, and that might be a good thing actually. If there was no Doug Ramsey, that event wouldn't have happened. But actually, Magik is of the issues that I read of that series. Of the Age of Revelation series, there is a part of the story arc where Magik shows up, but actually it's not Magik specifically. Specifically, it is Darkchild. And it'll make more sense if you decide to read that series. It's like that's not really Magik, that's more Darkchild. So we do get to see Darkchild in this 2025 series. We're just getting completely off subject here. But I do want to say to anybody that has not read this 2025 series, if you have not read the 1983 limited series yet, stop. Do not read this until you have read that 1983 series. It is imperative that you read that first, because there are a lot of callbacks to that series in this one, and you might get lost. There are points where you're like, man, I'm really glad that I reread that 1983 series, because I wouldn't know what that.
Yeah, I will say that's we talk about this a lot, of how so many of these modern series aren't great entry points, and it really, I think, hurts them a lot of times.
Yeah.
This one being one, especially for a niche character like Magik. Magik is one that she has a fair bit of fans, obviously enough to warrant getting a miniseries, but I still feel like she's a more niche character compared to so many others, like bigger on the niche side of characters,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is a good entry point for the character.
No, yeah. Well, because even then, I feel like it's even important to read some of her New Mutant stuff before this too. Of like, even though I haven't read it, you could obviously tell that her relationship with Moonstar is really important too, and therefore refer back to it in a general sense. But I would imagine some of those conversations they have, not that they weren't good for someone like me who didn't read the stuff, but like it probably would have hit harder if I knew of the history between those two characters specifically, since it lightly refers back to it.
Or maybe let me recant my original statement. Let me put it another way. If you want to read this one, go ahead and read it. And if the past, like, if it's interesting enough to where you want to go back and go, I want to go back and read this other stuff, that might not be such a bad thing either, because that'll get people reading more, X-Men stuff, whether it's about Magik specifically or not. But at the very least, it'll get people to read some of the older stuff that I think a lot of people forget about. But like definitely the New Mutant series, starting with 14, I think, is where Magik first comes into play, if I'm remembering right. But even that, it's issue 14. Go ahead and read the first 13 anyway, because it is a good series. Okay, again, getting off track here. Overall, what did you think of this series?
Overall, I thought it was kind of just fine. I had problems a few times with some of the writing in it, and I think that was my biggest disconnect. Not that the story was bad that we were given, but there were just certain bits here and there where I'm like, I felt like it could have been a little better, like with going to point A and B in some places, and I don't know. I think it's one of those things that maybe if each issue just had a couple more pages, they would have helped elaborate on certain things. But that being said, I don't think it was, like I said, it was bad. I think the story was still fine, but I will say the artwork was really good too. And there was one issue that I really thought the artwork was really cool. And I don't know if that was the only issue where it's a different artist, but I'm talking about issue 8. I like that one a good bit because that was like unique. Like the series did some cool things here and there that I appreciated though.
See, I thought the series was great. I loved it. That being said, similar to what I think it would have served the story better had it not been confined to 10 issues.
Yeah.
I think there was more story to tell.
Yeah.
Specifically, I felt like maybe we could have gotten some more of the background of Society of Eternal Dawn. Like, that story was only like 3 or 4 pages long. And I'm like, well, whoa, wait a minute. You are...
Sure.
I mean, you really need to kind of extrapolate that a little bit. I really need to know more about this. That would have been good if that had been like a whole issue by itself.
Yeah. I think it's really just a problem with just things with Marvel right now is series just last 10 issues and then they end. I think it's a sales decision at the end of the day, but it doesn't, it hurts them though when they're constantly announcing ongoing series, because they announce that and they call it an ongoing, but at the end of the day, 10 issues is a mini series.
It is. Yeah. 10 issues is definitely a mini series. I wonder if they went into it saying, okay, we're going to keep doing these. And then the decision was, well, we've got this Age of Revelation event that we're going to do. So we're going to have to cut this off at like 10 issues. I wonder if that was how it went. Yeah,
it's interesting because Marvel's having this, if you will, a cheap tactic, I feel like, where they keep on rebooting certain characters. And you may have noticed this even with characters that we don't necessarily read, that they constantly kind of like reboot characters. But the same writers attached, the same creative teams, they're just cheap with it. They did it with Fantastic Four over the summer. Same exact creative team. Spider-Man, they just did it with
last year. Rebooting it, or are they just relaunching the series?
Well, it's like renumbering the numbers when they don't need to.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, you're relaunching the series.
Yeah, relaunching the series when it's the same creative team.
Yeah, that's kind of irritating.
Scarlet Witch is huge with it, too. And so, I know, that's just one of my personal gripes with modern-day Marvel right now.
Yeah, so, on that note, they are not renumbering the X-Men after Age of Revelation.
Which that's kind of interesting when they do it so much of the other stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, because the newest
X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and Wolverine all continued their numberings.
The current issue of Uncanny just came out Wednesday, and it's number 22. So they didn't renumber that after Age of Revelation. And the Jed McKay series, which is just called X-Men, that one is 23. So they're not renumbering that. But I think those are the only two X titles that continued after Age of Revelation. I think those are the only two where they're like same creator, same creative team.
X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and Wolverine. Wolverine's the same. I haven't.
Oh, Wolverine's the same too. That's right. See,
yeah.
I haven't been reading Wolverine, so I don't know.
I only keep up with Wolverine, and maybe with this logic, I should be reading Uncanny X-Men as well, since Wolverine's my favorite Marvel hero. But I've only been reading his solo title individually.
Yeah.
The reason I stopped reading Uncanny X-Men though is because it was getting in other events and stuff, and I was trying to limit what I was buying. But yeah,
understood. So Uncanny X-Men, which is written by Gail Simone, amazing series. Folks out there, if you're not reading it, you really should go back. They delve a little bit into not Magik the character, but Magik. Let's say supernatural forces. Let's just say supernatural forces a bit in that series. Now, Magik the character is actually in the Jed McKay series, but in the series leading up to Age of Revelation, she was partnered up, for lack of a better way to put it. Basically, she was friends with Juggernaut, and they were partnered up. Of course, Juggernaut's not a mutant, and we won't get into that now. But okay, so one of the questions I had, and we kind of already touched on it, this Magik 2025 series. Well, yeah, we already kind of touched on it. I was going to say, how friendly is this series to newer casual readers? And does it require any previous Magik knowledge?
I mean, you might be able to enjoy it without it, but it definitely refers to things that I'm not familiar with. Like, there's a couple. There's one issue in particular, and the story of it was cool, but I didn't understand the previous implications of why things were. But I kind of gave it a pass because it's like I don't read that stuff. But the whole issue 6 that dealt with Goblin Queen and stuff, like, that was a good issue. But then, like, I wasn't really sure of her situation or why things are. But I was like, okay.
You got to read the Inferno series.
Yeah, that's on my list.
So, okay. For those of you watching, when I say the Inferno series, I am talking about the 80s version Inferno. There was also an Inferno series. I think I own. No, I don't. Okay, I don't. There was an Inferno series during the age of Krakoa. Completely different series, not even the same. Completely different series. I don't even know why they call it Inferno. And it's too confusing. Like, why would you call something, like, why would you create an event that is the same name as a beloved, iconic event from decades ago? It's just doesn't make it. Now, if it was a sequel, okay, that would make sense, but this is not. That was not a sequel.
Well, I feel like there was them trying to sell it off the same way that the new. I haven't read the new one either, but I felt like it's probably them trying to do what Secret Wars did, like Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars did for the older one.
Don't even get me started on that one. Don't even get me started. No, should not have been called Secret Wars. That is way too confusing. Oh, we're going to do a movie about Secret Wars. The good one or the bad one?
Wow.
No, I'm not being fair. I actually did like the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars. I just think he should have called it something else. Um, but yeah, same thing. They should have just. I mean, it was the series itself was not bad. It wasn't Inferno. It's and yeah, but no, Goblin Queen. Have you gotten into the X Factor stuff yet?
That's a bit later.
Okay,
Here, I'll pull up my guide and see how much further along that is, but
okay,
it's later.
yeah,
I
because
have
you got to read some of the early X Factor, but definitely read the Infernal stuff to understand
on
all
my
the.
reading list, I restart X Factor after New Mutants 37,
Gotcha. So
and
yeah,
I am on 13.
Goblin Queen is a cool character. So at the end of issue number 5 of this series, when it said something like "Enter Goblin Queen" or something, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." Uh, I actually really liked that issue, issue number 6, with the whole,
Yeah,
fight in Limbo over whether or not Goblin Queen will remain in control. It's funny because Goblin Queen is like, she shows up in New York and she's like the ambassador to the United Nations for Limbo. It's like, what? uh,
I would have liked to have seen that story arc over like 2 or 3 issues. I think I feel like they could have done some really cool stuff
for
if it was
sure.
expanded, but then they wanted to, as you touched on earlier, they wanted to go into this organization instead, which
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a bad story. I just
I,
liked whatever was going on with Limbo more.
yeah. No, I completely agree. I would have loved to have seen this part of the story arc uh, expanded as well. Again, the only gripe I have with this series is that it was not long enough.
Yeah, I think that's where ultimately my big problems come from. Is there's just certain plot points that I felt was like really rushed that could have been set up better, and then certain things happen, and it almost feels like they're out of nowhere, even though there technically is a little bit of setup here and there.
I'll give
And
you that.
so
I get
that,
that.
yeah, that's yeah,
Aside from my qualms about it not being long enough, and I agree there were some things that it did feel a bit rushed. Uh, I just really liked the series.
fair.
Um, I would have liked more. Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
could
I
have
would have
done,
read
like, the
more.
thing with Limbo, they could have stretched out. The thing with the origin of the society, they could have stretched out. Um, they, I don't feel like the exemplar characters got developed enough.
That's true. They had a big moment in the final issue, and that's kind of one of those things that I was like, wait, why do they care now? What?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is like, okay, so why do we care that these people are turning now? We don't really know a whole lot about. They were introduced, and that's pretty much it. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, there were a lot of flaws in this series, specifically on rushing things and not
I could have seen
developing
the last arc in particular that the writer probably wanted to do another issue or two, but then Marvel had the mandate of you got to stop at 10, and so
yeah.
crammed a lot into that last issue or two, and just
That
kind of did the
last
best
issue, there was a
probably
lot
did.
going on for sure. Yeah.
Like issue that last issue in particular, I don't know if you got this vibe, but I felt like it was almost 2 issues in one, and that they like really crammed it all together.
I really think that issue 10 could have been at bare minimum 3 issues.
Maybe I didn't.
Because
Maybe
for
yeah.
one, we needed one whole issue on the origin of the society. For one. Second, we needed a little bit more development on the exemplars. And
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't
Well,
do
they were also the main focus of this arc, as well as the whole thing that's going on with what's his name, Liminal and Cal's body.
right.
And when the big thing happens in that last issue with Cal coming back, that was another thing that it's like the only thing that they kind of reference that is like, oh, he's regaining control, but then like they didn't really expand on that either. It kind of just happened.
You know what I'll say they didn't develop enough or didn't explain enough that I feel like maybe we could have got at least a few more pages about was this inverted star. Like, I feel like that inverted star was really important to the events at the end, but like they just kind of mention it in passing.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Was that the other, was that the one place at the end that they fought?
Well, no, that's in the temple of the society when they're having their final battle, and Magik uses the inverted star to split Cal and Liminal.
Oh, yes, that. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that goes right into my point earlier of
I feel like that inverted star was very important to what's going on. But okay. And it kind of along the same lines as the exemplars. You're like, okay, why do we care? Why is this important? That being said, I did really like the final battle between Magik and Embodiment.
When they were in that like library place, that was cool. I thought there were some cool, like really cool visuals there.
I thought it was cool because like, so Embodiment like clearly states I'm a better swordsman than you. You shouldn't rely so much on your weapon as, you know, you should probably rely more on your skill. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. You're a better swordsman than her, but you also conceded that she's a better sorceress than you.
Yeah.
No, I did like the final battle. I can definitely see some foreshadowing for that character. Because spoiler alert here, folks, Magik doesn't kill her. She just binds her in that realm, like the library realm. So that could be some foreshadowing of things to come. But they also did, like, she also didn't destroy the society. She like left it in the hands of the exemplars.
Yeah, yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, that man, issue 10 was very rushed.
Like I said, I think you could tell that it was a sudden stopping point, and the writer was kind of like, "Shit, I only got 20 pages to do this story, 22 pages, however long it is story," and she tried her hardest, you know, and so like I don't have anything against the writer specifically for that issue, because I think it was ultimately just a Marvel mandate that happened.
Yeah. We can blame Marvel on that one.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Darkchild. How do you think Darkchild was treated in this run?
That was something I actually thought was cool. I actually think one of the best moments of this entire run was when I think it was in issue 5 when she was kind of like forced to make peace with Darkchild.
Yeah.
And like I said, like that, yeah, it was just a great moment. I thought having those two kind of come together, and it approached it in a similar way. Well, it was happening in a way, but then obviously came to better terms. But it made me think of the relationship between the Century and Void, and I think part of what makes those original series great is like that was like such a really unique original idea. But since Century isn't really present anymore, I'm okay with Magik kind of taking that mantle of something that can easily be more there. But her difference here is that she was able to like come to terms with it and actually be able to use it a little more, which I liked.
Yeah. I like how
yeah.
they presented it in a way that, okay, Darkchild isn't so much a curse
Yeah.
as it is a part of her.
I don't think she used it, but I felt like it would have really benefited of her actually diving into that in the final battle against Liminal.
Yeah, I think they kind of dropped the ball there, but with everything else going on in issue 10, maybe it was something that she wanted to bring in, but she was like, I feel like that's a point that like that had to be an obvious story point, and she just forgot about it because so much else was going on.
Yeah, like I said, mentioned it earlier, like the battle against what's her name, Embodiment, is that?
Yeah.
Like that fight against Embodiment should have been its own issue, and then having an issue against
Liminal
is they should have done that. But like I said, it was,
yeah, Darkchild definitely should have been a part of the fight against Liminal for sure.
Well, that's the thing though, is we had that great moment, and we got to see her use Darkchild at least once in the stuff after, maybe twice, but like for as big of a setup that was, I don't feel like Darkchild was as present enough in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Talked about the artwork. Artwork I thought was great.
The art definitely stood out to me. I think the artist with the magic effects was really cool. I really enjoyed the I believe it was a different artist that was on issue 8. Because that art style was really different than what we had before. And it really dived into it with some of the weird stuff that was happening in that issue.
Well, let's see.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to pull it up on my end, so I don't know how easy it is.
I'm trying to pull it up on League, and League is being slow.
It is Matt Horak did the art.
Oh, so okay, so a different person did do the artwork.
But if you remember, I don't know how well this is a show, but if you remember like that page with all the eyes and all the crazy stuff going on there.
Oh yeah.
And so like I really like the artwork, and like it's just absolutely craziness going on here. And so I really like that in particular. One of my definitely one of my highlights, I would say, of the series.
Yeah.
It was a good use of a guest artist, let's put it that way.
Yeah. So what would you say were some of your favorite moments in the series?
Favorite moments.
We can talk. You can say issues or just like certain points of the story arc, I guess.
I mean, there are certain points that I thought Liminal was always a good character throughout, and so a lot of the stuff with Liminal I thought was an interesting character. I actually really liked expanding on Liminal specifically, because we keep on referring back to the original Magik series, and why that's important is because Liminal is very much a character that's similar to Belasco. Belasco is such an important character to Magik's lore, and so being able to see that somebody in the similar vein, but like not just a copy, like there's definitely some differences with him that was cool, and so like a lot of the Liminal stuff was cool. I like the issue where Magik was stuck in Liminal's domain. I liked it for the most part. I felt like maybe it kind of broke its own rules, but like the story in it was interesting though. But yeah, that's one. The moment where I said earlier that we were just talking about with her coming to peace with Darkchild, I thought was a great moment. And in one of those last few issues as well, there's also a great moment between, maybe it's issue 9, between Magik and Danny that was really nice. of them kind of, really being friends with each other and kind of coming to each other's terms as their dynamic in this series I thought was good, as they played it off as, they were friends for a long time. I think mainly referring to the old New Mutant series that we were talking about, but then they got separated, and so then it's like, oh, I get to see all my best friend after all these years, but like, how was it? Does it really, Magik not completely trusting her, and it's a good dynamic, and that was one of the highlights for me as well.
Very cool. Yeah, I think the Limbo part was a favorite of mine. I think issue 10 as a whole, even though I felt it was rushed, I think was probably my favorite issue, like overall. But if we're going to talk about favorite issues, I would like specifically, I'm interested in knowing, did you have any issues that were a favorite cover? Like the cover of the issue.
That covered issue 5 I really liked. I don't know what it is about that one specifically, but that one was neat.
I'm trying to narrow it down between 4 issues. Like issue 1 is really cool because it's got her just standing there with that big ass sword. Okay, well, I could take that one off my list. Oh, man, okay, I've got it narrowed down to 3. I'm not going to use number 1, even though that is, I don't know, issue number 1.
Is Magik confronted the dragon one of them? 9.
Did you say issue 9?
Yeah.
Crap. Let me look at that one again.
Because I would say that's my second favorite.
Okay, yeah. Let me look at 9 again. No, not really. That's a cool cover. Like they're all great covers. I like all of the covers.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I may have to go with number 1 is my favorite, and then my second favorite. Okay, I'm trying to narrow it down between 3 and 7. 7 is the one where it's the cover where she's fighting with Danny, not against Danny, but like they're both on the cover. It's just a really cool cover.
I did like that one.
The number 3 is the one where it's Ileana and Darkchild, like as 2 separate embodiments. I don't know. No, I think after looking at both of them side by side, I'm gonna have to go with number 7 as my second favorite. But issue number 1, it's just an awesome cover. It's like she's just standing there with that big ass sword and all those demons kind of cowering around her. It's a good one. So while not specific to this series, outside of Magik and Doctor Strange and Wanda, what other Magik heavy characters are there?
In Marvel specifically?
In Marvel specifically, yeah.
Magik characters. I mean, you obviously have I mean, who'd you already say? Doctor Strange and
Doctor Strange and Wanda.
I mean, obviously there's wait, you're just talking heroes specifically?
Yeah.
There's the voodoo dude. I'm trying to remember his name.
Huh.
I'm gonna you'll see him. his name is he's just called Dr. Voodoo, but his name is Jericho Drum.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Brother
not
Voodoo,
familiar
later
with that.
Doctor Voodoo. Yeah,
I mean,
he's a cool
okay,
magic
obviously
character.
you've got, I mean, Loki, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of more of just heroes. There's definitely.
Yeah, he's not really a hero per se. Uh, I mean, obviously, if we're not talking just heroes, there's also Doctor Doom. Um,
Yeah, you usually got like Dormammu and there's Clea with Doctor Strange and all that other stuff.
Wiccan.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Wiccan's a really cool character. I really like Wiccan, yeah. Agatha Harkness, of course.
Yeah, Agatha. Yeah, yeah. So how that was more a lead in to the next question is how does Magic and this series compare to other Magic heavy Marvel stories?
I'm actually looking up a list of wait, hold on. Does this count as magic? Because I feel like that's more cosmic. Okay, because there's I just pulled up a list, and the first one here is Adam Warlock, where I'm like,
I'd say that's more cosmic than magic.
called metaphysical magic. They, I don't know. Yeah, I would agree though. Hellstorm, Nightmare, Baron Mordo, Mikaboshi. I don't know who that is, but that looks crazy. Odin, of course. I mean, you have so many guns. Oh, Nico Minoru. That's a notable one that we didn't say. Hela. Cersei. That's who I was thinking of earlier. Shuma Gorath is on there. Obviously, the Mephisto. We didn't say Mephisto. Are we comparing? Wait. What's your question again?
So, how does Magic as a character and this Magic series specifically compare to other Magic heavy Marvel stories?
Well, you know, that's a great question because that's something I'm not super familiar with overall. I've read, I think, a couple Doctor Strange story arcs before, and I like them. I guess you would count War of the Realms as a magic-based story. I read that event. I actually thought that event was really good. I'm just trying to remember if there's anything else magic related that I've really read or not. But I would say of everything that comes to mind, I think the best thing is that original, once again, that original Magic miniseries. I really like the use of that.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's like the best. This one's a okay follow-up to that. So
here's an interesting thing. Like if you were to compare her to, let's just say Doctor Strange, because he's probably the most well-known magic using hero. I mean, there's Scarlet Witch, but yeah. The biggest difference between these two characters is that Doctor Strange chose magic, while Ileana, it was kind of forced on her.
Yeah.
So magic for Doctor Strange is more like about knowledge and discipline and like cosmic order, I guess. Whereas magic for magic is more like about her trauma.
Yeah.
And like the cost of her trauma.
Sure, for sure.
And I think this series is a good representation, a further representation of that trauma, because she's having to deal with She is still having to deal with repercussions of crap that happened almost 3 decades ago.
Yeah, that's very true. I do think overall the core aspects of the story did the character justice, and it really shows you being like, well, maybe she is capable of her on her own. You just don't really think of her being on her own really at all.
Yeah.
Because I don't think um there is any other Magic series other than the two we've talked about. I'm looking it up right now though.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's one shots with Magic. We talked about the Blood Hunt. There's a What If Magic. And then everything else that pops up is just other stories that she is part of.
Like
such as like,
arcs,
oh, there's Doctor Strange here, there's X-Men, here's Psylocke, New Mutants, and so like all this stuff that she's not part of.
You know, they mentioned Doctor Strange in the story because she made a comment like, I'll just go get Doctor Strange to help. And they're like, oh, he's not on this reality. Well, wait, what? Where? Huh? Where's he at?
I think it's referring to the One World Under Doom stuff where he's at Asgard.
Gotcha.
Or was at Asgard there at that time.
So while I don't remember it, I'm certain that it happened. And this series kind of plays into that. Like apparently at some point in time, she has teamed up with Doctor Strange.
I mean, that would make sense.
That'd be an interesting story. That might be an interesting story to tell or to read about.
Yeah, I'm going to see if there's any comics that come to that is known of. I don't know. I think obviously is what's annoying is I typed this up of a team up between them and it pulls up stuff about Marvel Rivals. It's like, that's not what I want though.
No, not the freaking video game.
I don't want the game. I want the she was with Doctor Strange in issue 450 and I think it's in one of its things or stories. I don't know. Is this part of
Secret Avengers? They have crossed paths frequently due to Limbo. Secret Avengers. Fear itself.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure on all.
I don't remember what that is.
Looks like she's in the first arc of Doctor Strange that takes place after Secret Wars.
Okay.
I forgot Magik was a teacher at Strange Academy. That's a fun series.
I have not read that one. Okay.
It says that Doctor Strange is also an Extant Furnace, possibly. Do you remember him being in that?
I do not, but I also don't actually remember ever having read that series.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That was... When was that? Is that pre or post House of M?
I think just after House of M. I could be wrong. Because House of M was 2008, right?
I think so.
That story was the one I was just looking at is 2009 or 2010.
Well, this Fear Itself crossover event, a 7-issue miniseries written by Matt Fraction.
Oh.
And a prologue book written by Ed Brubaker.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember this story at all. The prologue is called Book of the Skull.
You know, it sounds like we got some potential future episodes cooking up here, so we'll see.
This one seems less like. This one might have to be a Dingus Den thing because this is not just mutants.
Let's do it.
This is like Avengers and
You said Fear itself?
Huh?
You said Fear itself?
Yeah, Fear itself. It's like Avengers and Spider-Man and X-Men and Ghost Rider. Man, there's a ton of freaking issues.
Yeah, I'd probably just read the prologue in the main event, but they do have a bunch of issues that tie into it.
Well, I might read, just because it's me, I might read the Uncanny X-Force tie-in and maybe the New Mutants tie-in. Oh, there's an Uncanny X-Men tie. I don't know. This is what, 2011?
That's a huge series right here.
I don't remember this series at all. I do not remember this. Wait a minute. Was I reading comic books in 2011? Certainly I was. Maybe not. I don't remember Fear itself at all.
This is a massive event. I'm just scrolling through it all on Marvel Unlimited, and it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. How did we get to talking about this? Oh, team up between Magik and
Magik, yeah.
Okay, so basically I think our ideas of this series are similar. You didn't like it as much as I did, but I think we could both agree that it was rushed and could have used more issues.
Yes.
Any final thoughts on this series?
Not in particular, I think. It was... I feel like I've said everything. I think if you're not familiar with Magik, I won't say this is something that's a must read. I think you'd have a better time reading some of the other stuff where she's part of the team. If you're just wanting to see what Magik's about, I'd say. But if you're a big Magik fan, I think you probably have more enjoyment out of it too. That's probably another reason why you enjoyed it more than me as well, is you just like Magik more than me as a character. So
that could be fair.
And so I think that's very valid. And so
that's fair.
If you're a big fan of the character, I think you'd probably appreciate it more.
Yeah, I can understand that. That makes sense why you didn't like it as much as me. So we've got kind of the just for background information, there is a I'll call it a spiritual successor to this series. Releases on February 4th. The first issue does. Magik and Colossus.
Very cool.
And that is the same creative team of Ashley Allen and German Peralta. And then in March, I'm trying to find the exact date. March 4th, Moonstar #1 comes out. And that's about Danny.
Yeah.
Same writer, Ashley Allen, but a different artist. Edardo Audino.
Nice.
And I think that one's going to be... I think that one is also a limited series. I'm pretty sure it is. Let me double check. I've got a Shadows of Tomorrow list pulled up. Yeah, that one is also like Magik and Colossus, and Moonstar is also they're both 5-issue limited series. So while not related to the series, let's go through a quick breakdown of the Shadows of Tomorrow era. As of what has been announced right now, in addition to Magik and Colossus and Moonstar, there are 2 other limited series that have been announced. There is a Cyclops miniseries written by Alex Packnadel. I hope I didn't butcher that. And drawn by, I'm probably going to butcher this one too, Rohei Antonio. And then we have a Rogue limited series written by Erica Schultz, drawn by Luigi Zagaria. And then for ongoing series, of course, we have X-Men by Jed McKay, and Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone, Wolverine by Saladin Ahmed. Those are the 3 that were already going on previously before Age of Revelation. But the new ongoing series are going to be Inglorious X-Force, written by Tim Seeley, with art by Michael Maria. Michael Saint Maria? Yeah, I don't know what that. X-Men United, written by Eve L. Ewing, with artwork by Tiago Palma. Generation X-23, written by Jody Hauser, with art by, I'm really going to butcher this one, Jacopo Camagni. Wow. Wade Wilson Deadpool, written by, here's a name we all know very well, Benjamin Percy, with artwork by Jeff Shaw. And then the last one is Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant, written by, oh good Lord, Murawa Ayadel. Hopefully I didn't butcher that one too bad. With artwork by Federica Mancine. And that is all that has been announced so far. Now, as far as Magik goes, of course, we have the Magik and Colossus series, but she will also be a part of the Jed McKay X-Men run. But other than that, like Spencer said, if you are a big fan of Magik, this is definitely a must-read, in my opinion. I still hold to the idea that maybe you should go read the 1983 series first. But you don't have to. I just feel like I like to know what's going on before it goes.
Yeah, if you read the miniseries, I highly suggest reading X-Men issue 160 first. And that issue,
yeah,
you don't need to read anything before. I think that's a great jumping on point issue right there.
Yeah, I agree. But where are you in your Chris Claremont reread?
Well, it's my first time going through it, but
okay.
Yeah, I've only ever read like the first little bit, but not fully ever before. But I am just before Magik first appears, so I'm at New Mutants 13 and 14 right now. What happened last in X-Men was there's a story arc. The first story arc that involved Madeline Pryor, which, spoiler alert, actually just released a short on this yesterday, where Jason Wingard is involved. X-Men issue 175. That was the last actual X-Men issue I read, and that one was probably one of my favorite X-Men issues so far. Actually, I really like that issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Really good.
I have to go back and reread that one. Man, I've got my reading list for X-Men is getting so huge right now. So on Mutant Chronicles, I think our next episode is going to be on the Mutant Massacre storyline. However, this is subject to change because I am constantly coming up with other ideas for stuff I want to talk about. But for now, it's going to be Fall of Mutants. So if you are a patron, first of all, thank you for being a patron and helping us financially and keeping things going with our StreamYard and everything. But you'll be seeing this episode of Mutant Chronicles first. And eventually it'll be on YouTube. Our last episode, which I did with Cameron, was over favorite storylines, and that is performing quite well on the YouTube channel. So I think a lot of folks are enjoying the X-Men discussions, I think. We've only done 2. This is number 3. But yeah, we got lots of plans for Mutant Chronicles. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you will be back for the next one. Later.